Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
What's her boyfriend's name?
Jake.
Oh, JB.
Really?
He's our football. He's our quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So.
The one's talking with them right now.
Hi, friend. I was going to text you this morning and be like, can you bring me some lap juice? And then I was thinking, like, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. It's time to go to the couch now.
All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started.
I'll make it on.
Hi, I'm the
Just woke up.
Yeah, he was not happy to be
I'm sorry.
He comes by it honestly. Hey,
Hey, hey.
I know.
oh,
Hi, how are you? I could move my stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it, but no, I think it works.
Hey, we presented
yeah, so everything.
Not yet. I'm gonna do it like, I'm gonna do it. I only have to let my friend. I can't present. I'll just show you. Okay.
I can do it. I'll do it in announcements after a core, after announcements.
That's where he wanted to go. Now I can go to the video, like, obviously.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 10th of April. I see that we all survived the eclipse and that everybody actually was able to wake up and everybody that was saying it was the end of the world. Did you see all that stuff?
Once again, someone else wish it was.
I was there in 1999 when all the computers were supposed to shut down and
Yeah, Y2K.
we just kept going. So, same thing. Okay. Today, our core value is actually our mission. We're going to talk about this just for a minute, and then later on, we're going to come back to the core value. So, our core values are, and mission statement is creating homes, building community, real estate with soul. What we do goes beyond just houses. A house is just a building with four walls and a roof, but a home is a sacred space. We are helping people find the place where memories will be made and their families will do life. Building community. Community is at the center of it all. Everything we do should have the end goal of fostering community, making neighborhoods better, and impacting our city positively. And real estate with soul, the idea of soul is two-part. Part one, the soul behind our work. Our mission focuses on the spiritual and physical restoration of our city, clients, and team. Part two, every project we undertake should have style, substance, and soul, for that which has soul arouses emotions and stirs affection. These are the things that are at the very core of who we are. This is not something that we're going to put on the front of the building out here. This is what we actually feel and believe in our souls. It's what makes us who we are. So I'll come back to that in a little while, but I got some announcements. I have said it a couple of times. If you have, hello, Maria. If you have a vendor that you would like to come and sponsor a lunch with us, please ask them to email me, Brian at 6apphomes.com. We'll take a roofer, we'll take a plumber, we'll take an inspector. My son Gavin, who does window washing and power washing, is thinking about sponsoring one. He's 19 and he's an adult. I'm like, yeah, you want to come sponsor some breakfast? Come on.
That's a great pre-listing thing to do.
Yeah. So, and he's available.
How far is he driving?
Huh?
How far is he driving?
Well, I mean, we're coming from Saginaw and he's got his big truck, so he'll go
Wherever.
pretty much all over Tarrant County at least,
Okay.
maybe into eastern Parker County and eastern Wise. But yeah, he's doing that window washing and power washing thing. So he's putting his stuff back out there. But I'm gonna make him come up here and sell to y'all. That way he can get the idea of it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Code of ethics training is due for everyone. You have to do it once every 3 years by the end of the cycle. So the end of the cycle is 12/31/24. So you've got 8 months to get your code of ethics training done. Do you know what that is? Okay, thank you, Frank. Good man. Frank, yes, thank you. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me hit this real quick and I'm gonna show you. That was the response I wanted, Frank, just to let you know.
Right. I'm here for you, Brian.
I appreciate it, man. Okay, so I'm gonna present this real quick. This is the NAR website. And when you go, I'm going to put this link in Slack. When you click this, it will make you log into your NAR account. And then you will come down here, just barely, we're under My Education. As soon as you sign in to this thing, it'll tell you if your code of ethics is completed. Okay?
Mine is not.
I will send this in the Slack.
I already did.
I'll send the link where you need to go check in the Slack. But here's what happens. If you don't get it finished by April, then they take you out and you can no longer use the word realtor in your name.
April of this.
So
April
April
of this year.
Next year. You can let it lapse for 3 months and get it done, but they're going to start emailing you saying, hey, you're about to lose everything. So it has to be done by December 31st. With it get late next April. So you got a year.
Like this year, it needs to be done for this calendar year, not if you did it last year or year before. Or
You'll go here and check.
Okay.
You have to do it once every 3 years,
Yeah.
and everybody has the exact same cycle. So it's not like your license where
Everybody's due. Yeah.
mine's due in February, yours is due in April or whatever. No, everybody is due in December every 3 years.
Got it. Okay.
So everybody has to take the code of ethics, and there's NAR has the Fairhaven thing.
Yeah.
That's a city, and they walk you through the fair housing stuff, and you do all these things. If you guys ever want to take some really good training, deep training, there's Commitment to Excellence, and you'll see that in my signature. But it is a complete, probably 45 or 50 hour course that you can take, and it is super deep on Commitment to Excellence. And you can see mine is probably right there.
Sorry, guys.
So you can get there from the NAR website, but it's C2EX, so it's Commitment to Excellence. But it's a super deep dive into fair housing, apartments, all kinds of stuff.
She's going to join our team.
Yeah, she did join our team. She is on the team now. If I can just get over to where it is. I'm trying. Where's the mouse? Okay, there it is.
It said she can join the meeting.
There she comes. You on, Twala? Yep, she joined. Hi, Twala.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is where you go to check that. I will put that in the Slack thing. Let me let me talk about a couple other things, and then Jimmy's got a couple of things. Okay, so Builder Boot Camp is in 2 weeks with Highland Homes. They will be here in office and doing their Builder Boot Camp. The day after that is the photo shoot. Danielle, thank you for your email to clarify. Yes, I would like for everyone to be there by about 10:30, 10:40. Our group picture is at 10:50 at the Lumen Room. Hi, Glenn. So if you can get there at 10:30, 10:40, just so we have everybody there. When Emily's ready for us, we'll call the whole group in. We'll do pictures, and then everybody can take off unless you've got your picture scheduled for the rest of the day. So that's on the 25th. May the 8th, after this class, because we have a 10 o'clock mastermind, at 11:30, we will watch a video of real estate law with JC Johnson, and that's a 1 hour CE. So we'll probably be here for that. That's on the 8th. And Jimmy, you're up.
Okay. So have we booked the buyer's presentation thing?
I sure
So
can.
One just quick announcement. You've seen it on Brian's emails. Just if anyone knows how to use the ReChat email template thing, please let me know. Does anyone? Does anybody use that?
I mean, what are you trying to do?
I am trying to create 40 to 50 emails for templates that I can give to you guys and set up your flow so we have emails every other week going to your clients and you don't have to do a thing
Are
for a
they?
quarter or two.
So, I mean, I know how to.
I've sent email blast before.
Yeah, I know how to do email blasts. I know you did a training on how to do
I
flows.
know.
Um,
Yeah.
Are they,
Try not to have one.
are they touch emails or are they
Yeah.
like client based, like seller buyer, like
So-
your contract emails?
Yeah, I want them to be like, a combination of what's going on at 6th Ave, what's going on in the market, what's going on with me. And so like, basically, a drip campaign is what the marketing term for it is. And so if you're not doing a drip campaign to your clients, you need to be. It's like every business from a marketing standpoint, you have your socials, you have your drip campaigns, and then you have your initiatives. And so those are like three from a marketing standpoint. That's kind of like your baseline foundation for every company, right? So you have your social media, that's on a set schedule calendar. We're going to do that in Q3. Then you have your email campaigns, which is your drip campaigns, and that's just getting in front of people's faces. It doesn't matter if they delete them. It doesn't matter if they look at them. It's just the fact that it's their inbox. And then you have your initiatives, and that's a strategic, like monthly or quarterly thing that you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to post a lot about blank, or I'm going to like send a coupon out to my clients or a gift to my clients. It's like an initiative. It's not an ongoing thing. It's just a one-time like initiative. And so those three kind of like things are your core foundational marketing pieces. And so the next 2 quarters, I want to give you guys the emails and the social media piece. Like I literally my goal at the end of this quarter is to give you a year's on worth of emails, like that you can send to your clients, and we press start and it just goes. If you want to, obviously. So that's literally the goal for this quarter. So if anybody already like knows how to do that through WeChat, because that's where all of your CRM system exists, then I'm gonna grab you and pay you to help me.
Is there a WeChat rep in the area that can come do a class for our agents?
There it is. I just was gonna pay someone.
Well, no,
to
I
do
know
it.
that, but I'm just saying in general, so we all can learn how to do the flows in the
They
future.
generally just do videos, and all of it's
Yeah.
available in their back
It
end.
is. I just.
So the goal is kind of like we did with the websites, where we just like make it all for you and then teach you how to do it all. That's the goal for this as well.
Yeah.
Is I want to make all the templates, and then we have a workshop where we sit down, teach you guys like, here's how to edit these, and then here's how it will send out. If you want to change or edit it, this is how it does. And so it's like,
Giving us content for them.
yes, we're literally going to make all of it. Like it's going to be the most incredible thing.
I'll try to.
Yes.
I know that I know how, like, I know how to do it. I just
Yeah,
have to sit down.
certain quirky things.
Right.
There are
We know-
quirky
I mean,
I know it looks, to me, it's like if WeChat does not do what I want it to do, then we'll build it out and we'll pay for software and give you guys software
Well,
to
that's
use it.
what I was gonna say.
So-
My true like CRM, like with my people,
Yeah.
are in Referral Maker.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that's in WeChat is people that I've blasted in there from Remind to like send out pointed, targeted
Yeah.
emails. So setting it up in Remind.
WeChat's not.
I mean,
very
WeChat,
user-friendly.
sorry.
Girl Scout,
Yeah,
you mean?
No,
Oh,
that's
sorry,
what you
sorry,
use
WeChat.
too.
Oh, yeah. okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
so I don't have like any of my people in WeChat.
WeChat, okay.
And I don't know if that's just a me thing or if everybody's got, I don't know. I just don't know where everybody's got their stuff.
Yeah.
So that might be it.
Anybody
start
else,
too.
anybody else have comments on this? Where does everybody else house their customer
I
database?
use both pretty much. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's the same almost. It's
Okay.
kind of weird. But
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, Referral Maker has some different things I can't even reach out. I like, but
How much is Referral Maker a month?
Depends on your membership.
We can get it to you, I think, for like $35 a.
25 is what I think is what they quoted.
What
Just
the
for
heck?
that.
I know, right? I'm like,
25.
what the hell?
25 is just for Referral Maker, but that's Buffini's system.
If you have that one box.
And we've got so many people that take it in the class.
Yeah.
But it comes with
Yeah, same.
the pro version comes with like 100 gift cards and then so the
Mail out.
mail
I
out.
have a baby.
And you get the email version of the mail out.
Let me ask you guys this really quick. Does anyone use WeChat for anything else other than
Transaction.
transactions?
Well, yeah, I also make a bunch of content in it.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
very user friendly for
Yeah.
that stuff.
See, I don't think it's user friendly. Like,
I don't
no,
Me either.
I'm like, I'd rather make it somewhere else, and then what we do is just import it, but you can't import a PDFs.
What content do you make, Andrew?
Yeah.
Just like open houses,
Well-
flyers, or social media posts. Or use I'll use the holiday stuff if they already have it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we use
Canva, yeah. Canva has, are you on Canva?
Does that have a lot of?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It has a ton. It has a ton more.
Yeah.
It's
The nice thing I think about ReachChat is that it just pulls whatever data,
it's on.
it's
under
connected
IBS.
MLS.
Yeah.
So you can,
Yeah.
but you can't edit it, like, you can't put your time and date on your open house flyer. You can't edit it that way.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you guys are okay with it, probably what I'm gonna do is next week or the following week, I'm probably just going to like ask like a brainstorming session for anybody that wants to be a part of it.
We can do it next Mastermind if you want to do it, because I don't have anything planned next Wednesday.
Yeah, all right, is anybody gonna be out of town that wants to be there?
Next Wednesday, we'll just make a rechat for you and you can lead
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be a lot of questions because the one option I'm thinking about just right now in my head, if Referral Maker is a really good CRM system, and it's like, this is something that everybody can use that can benefit everybody, and ReachChat and Canva could replace, like, if, like Andrew, if you're the only one that's using ReachChat for the flows, or for the, content, then do we pay less for, another just transaction software and more, and pay, like, get everybody a Referral Maker, and pay for that for everybody, or, I mean, can we, we're paying 200, whatever the office fee is, we're paying that, right? It's like, I am open to making sure that money goes to the fullest links. And I do not want you guys paying $200 to 6app and then also another $300 to all these other softwares that we could all use and all benefit our business. And so I'm always open to like switching to changing up. I don't want to like do that a lot for our transaction software, because it's like, everybody's like, I hate change,
Switching from brokerman, I thought Danielle was going to
That's
strangle
like,
me.
I'm over here like, somebody take my baby so I don't squeeze them.
So, I mean, I don't take that lightly. Anytime it's transaction stuff, I definitely don't take that lightly. And like, people try to learn a new, just to like, that screws your business so much. So,
The learning
but-
curve is hard.
What's that?
The learning curve.
The learning curve is always so annoying. So I do not take that lightly at all. But also, I am not opposed to making everybody learn it and making, for if we're getting so much more value out of something else that we can pay for you guys for. So, if we're okay with that, we'll do, anybody online have a question?
I want to say
Just
something
gotta
because
use
I
the
was in the car.
ReachChat.
I
Yeah.
love ReachChat. I use it all the time.
Okay.
I use it every time they email me and they say, "Oh, congratulations on selling a house," and they make little flyers for me. It saves me like 100 hours trying to figure out. So I use it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't set up the flows, but I've even like went to their little trainings on my own at home and watched the little videos. So I think, in my opinion, if our brokerage, our people had some more training,
Yeah.
they probably would like it more. So
Okay.
definitely, I would think it's worth trying that first before switching, just because switching is miserable. But also, I do know they have some really cool stuff. And if you don't know it, then yeah, I can see why you want to just use whatever you're already.
I totally
I mean,
get it.
I do use
Great
the
point.
CRM. I don't build a lot of content in ReachChat because we do it in
Canva.
Canva because we know it really well. But I do love the transaction management and ReachChat.
Yeah.
Or
I
DocuSign,
Because
like
I
you're
don't
saying,
love
yeah.
going into zip forms and and of course I never was taught.
Yes, you were.
Well, but
Because I trained you.
I was taught to like do it in zip forms and then take it out and like DocuSign it to me. And I mean, and I do suck on the back end of things. We know that. So for me, like all of that. So like ReachChat, I can jump in there and like.
And that is a
Fire
beautiful part of
docs,
ReachChat
like,
is being able to do
in
DocuSign
23
since it's
minutes,
baked
I have
in.
fire docs or listing docs done.
Yeah. ReachChat is awesome. It's been vetted really well. So that's like one of the
I just
last
wish you
things
could
I'm
upload
gonna
a
do.
PDF, sorry.
I know.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me show,
Oh,
I told you last week that we were working on this. So this is what I've got accomplished so far.
Yeah.
I got up at 4:00 this morning and got this done. So take a look and see what you think. This is the presentation book so far. And the way it's done is I had to do 2 columns because I wanted it to be where when you look at it on your computer, it looks different than it does presentation. Okay, so you could see it better. But this is the pages down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then when you click this link right here, that will actually take you into the Canva Pro account and let you edit that form directly there. And then you remember you got to copy it, and then you can print it out.
So,
Victoria.
Couple notes on this. So scroll up to the top, Brian. For those of you that don't know or are new, our quarter 1 product to you guys was a buyer's packet and a pro pack. So whenever you're going to a buyer's, meeting, a seller's meeting, you want something formal. You want we created these documents to be used in a couple different ways. So you can go to what's Staples printer service? What is that called nowadays? It's not Staples. What's just Staples? It's just all Staples.
Yeah.
So you can go and take this just right here, and you can make it into a booklet. So you could make it into a booklet like this, like a staple where you can now every buyer presentation or you have something to give to them. It's really professional, just something to feel. You can print this out on nice. You can make a bunch of copies. You can do it a bunch of different ways. All of this is designed to be able to do it in a folder. You can just print out, put in a folder. You can do it a whole bunch of different ways. So it's designed to do that. So that's the first thing. Also, it's designed if you never want this just random life is too short to live in a boring home. It's just a nice fluffy design page, right? You don't want to print that out because you don't have to go over it. Don't print it out, right? You don't have to put it in here. So it's designed to be customized to use whatever you want to do. And if you'll scroll down a little bit, this is all very 6th Ave driven. Obviously, I'm not gonna customize it out to everybody's individual style. So it's a generic 6th Ave, but it looks really, really solid. On the About Me, have you guys seen this? You'll have to go and edit that.
Let me do this.
Right?
So I'm going to show it. So all I did was click it, and it took me into Canva Pro, and then you have to go to File, make a copy, and go.
Okay, so we can copy it and then make the.
Yep,
And then you'll edit kind of what it says, your name, your photo, and you'll save it, and then you'll just always have that for your. So we try to do an editable, thing for anything that you can do through Canva, and everybody should have a Canva account. So
we have the Canva Pro too.
Canva Pro.
Yeah. So then also just down at the bottom, I've added in some things. These are actual links. They're live links to those forms. I even put over here, these are examples, just so you know what they look like, especially for newer agents that, don't know what all the documents look like. This is just a place they can see what they look like. Please use ReChat or Zip forms to do these forms. You know what I'm saying? You can see what they look like, but don't fill them out there. Don't do that. Just go through ReChat or go through DocuSign. Remington's up now. Go ahead.
I also in a buyer's packet or a seller's packet, I always have a copy of them on the form.
Absolutely.
A physical copy. It's nice to look at digitally, but for me, as I'm selling, I always have something physical. I might do it all digital, but it's just nice to whenever you're sitting down with someone and you're putting something out, sometimes it's nice for that. Obviously, I'm old, so that's just my thing. But for older clients, then I only do physical. For younger clients, they're pulling out their laptop. Where are you at? And okay, great. So it's made to have both of those opportunities the way you like to sell. So we'll have this. The buyers is done. This is kind of what it looks like. So I hope
Listings next.
Yeah,
Listings next, and that's
Yeah.
that's a little bit longer packet. So,
Yeah.
but now that I've got a process, it'll only take me probably 6-8 hours to get it put up,
Yeah.
and everything's going to be on the 6th Ave on the back site here, just so you know where it is. Down on the bottom left-hand corner, productivity, all the way down to the bottom. That's where the buyer's presentation is, and it's available now. That one's ready to go. And so the next one I'll do is the listing presentation, because that's the most important. And then I'll jump back up and do the listing sign process, but that's not done yet. I did, however, figure out a way to get the signs cheaper. I talked to our sign guy and check this out. So the ones that have just the rider on top, those are $90 for just the frame of those signs. But if we get one on top and one on bottom, $45.
Oh, done.
So we're getting riders on top and bottom from now on. Because they're a whole lot cheaper and they're the lighter ones. Those big ones are so heavy. So anyway, just let y'all know that. Next.
That's it, guys. Any questions on that?
Where
Like,
was that at? Because I was looking at the calendar.
so it's on
the backside?
in the productivity, on the backside under the productivity tab.
Can I just throw my brain's thoughts on that?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
For everyone that is like struggling to create content, like walking through that booklet page by page, post by post, like week by week, that's how many pages was that?
It's 12.
Okay, that's like 12 weeks of content. Like if you do it once a week, just you can literally get on a green screen and talk about it.
Yeah.
The buying process is on there. Who we are is on there. Just
Yeah, it's a great thought. Yeah, great thought. It's like you can make 10 posts about it.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. It looks really solid. It's just nice to have something that like you. It just feels it brings authority, and that's what you want. So I know you guys were asking for that, and then also too, if you just like whenever you have those like you just showed 6 houses, and then you're about to go to a listing presentation, you're brain dead. It's like at the worst, and you don't have any prep at all. You at least have the digital, like, you know what, here you go. And you're like, I'm not thinking about anything. I can at least click, and I just know 1 through 10. That's just going to give me everything I need. And so it's kind of that safety backup. You can just forget the, about me. Just skip over that because it's not going to be you.
But once you personalize this, just make it into a PDF on your
Yeah.
computer, and that's your listing presentation. A lot of times you'll be working with somebody like from out of state, and you're not going to meet with them. You're just going to do a virtual or phone call. Send them that PDF of your listing, your buyer presentation, and say, hey, this is a little bit about us. I'm going to have, with the settlement coming, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. Okay. Anybody that's telling you they know what's going to happen, they don't. But we're probably going to have some changes. That's obvious. There's going to be something changed. So I had on that thing, the IABS, your information about brokerage services, and your representation agreement, buyer's representation agreement. I think those are minimum to have in your listing pack, or in your buyer packet.
Yeah.
Okay. And your contract and your third party. That gives you something to discuss if you run out of things to talk about, which you're not gonna. But you can go through the contract, explain that to them, go through the third-party financing, and explain that to them as well. Okay, so speaking of the NAR settlement, one of the things that we're hearing a lot from everyone is we need to get better at expressing our value to our clients and customers. So how can we add value? So that's what we're going to talk about just for a minute. So how do we add value? I'm sorry, I'm not behind you. So I want some ideas of how do we add value?
Number one, I think that when you are discussing your value, I think you need to, one thing that we have implemented just recently is to pose ourselves with professional services or professional service fees. Instead of like, obviously commission we kind of threw out the window a long time ago, but like compensation, even professional service fees. I mean, pose yourself as a professional, as an expert. So I really think our vernacular is probably most important to show our value.
Okay. What are other ways?
not being individual agents. We have a team of people. We have support. It's not just me and some person in the cloud that works from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah. I don't know what you're.
Okay. How else do we add value to our clients, to our listings, to our buyers?
Well, I think just being strategic in your planning. I mean, you're always going to have the clients, and I think this is going to be like, and hearing what I'm hearing and what Angela shared with us yesterday, and I mean, just knowing what's coming down the pike is you need to slow yourself down in business. We have been too eager for a very long time to jump up and proclaim someone. And I'm guilty of it too, but I think we really need to encourage consultations at the office before you step foot with people. If you don't pose yourself as a professional, if you pose yourself as I'm available and I'm not busy, they don't respect your trade. I don't call my doctor, I don't call my lawyer, I don't call my hairstylist and be like, hey, you got time for me today? I mean, it just doesn't. And I think it makes you look less professional when you can always be available. Now, I'm not saying I don't get up on Saturday mornings for an established client and go show because something comes up. But I think taking the time to really be like, come in, I want to explain the process to you, blah, blah, blah. It's not like an attorney shows up to defend you on a murder trial the morning of. And so I think it's been a very poor part. And this is obviously, I've expressed my opinion to people at TAR and NAR, is that you can get your real estate license on a Groupon. You literally can. And that's a really bad thing. And that was a really bad thing that we've allowed low educational standards. So don't pose yourself as that person. Take the time, be methodical with people, and you're going to lose clients over it. You are, but those people don't see your value anyways.
Good. I like it. What are some other ways that we can add value? Think specifically. I want you to think like, if I'm working with a buyer client, how can I add value?
For representation, I mean, we offer we fill out the contracts and we make sure it's all legal. We have our errors and omissions. We have all that if you're just going out on your own,
Okay.
no ABUS,
So,
you make a mistake.
okay. So we add professional representation. Okay.
So you take the risk for any issues that come.
I think people, and to play on that, I don't think people really understand the legalities that we take on by helping them through a real estate transaction. How many things that we can get fined for, or do things wrong and get sued for, things. I do tell my clients that, like, they ask me to do something, I'm like, legally, I can't do that. Like, I'm just not willing. That's my livelihood. So I think even educating them on that aspect of it, as far as like the legalities that we take on as an agent, I think is important
Yeah, I
too.
was gonna say the education piece
Yeah.
is important.
I think,
I don't know.
I think so. Just in some of my discussions with people that are dealing on the forefront of these lawsuits, these new lawsuits that are being filed in Texas, a lot of the discussion across the table, like, I guess they just had like the President's Circle in Florida, and then they all were in Austin for TAR last week, like discussing a lot of these issues, is like there has been legal things brought up of like we make ourselves not us as individuals, as an industry, like the Selling Sunset, and I don't know that, like, you probably don't watch that, and I don't, but
Is it a show?
yeah, it's a reality show of all these agents that work out in California, and of course they have clients, and
No.
the
I've seen it.
publicity that we have given
I
ourselves
live it. I don't
and
have
the
to
media
watch
has
on
given
TV.
us to pose ourselves is, oh, I'm just selling a $2 million property and the commission is $60,000. That didn't make us respectable. So I'm just very conscious, and I try to be conscious and probably not always catch myself, but on social media, if you're talking about your business, show value. Don't show your GCI for what you closed this year. That doesn't show your client's value. That flexes to them. Oh my gosh, he closed 10 million this year times 6%. That's how much he made. That's what the general public thinks of us. So I think having a humble attitude as you share on social media and share, because I mean, it has always made me cringe. I know Holly and I have this discussion at the end of the year when people are like, oh, I closed 10 million this year or 15. I'm kind of like, plumbers don't do that. Attorneys don't do that. We need,
No,
if we want to
attorneys do.
do.
Yeah.
Oh,
See the
yeah.
billboards, like,
Well, and see, I wouldn't use those.
200 million.
Thomas J. Henry.
Yeah.
Thomas J. Henry, I want to punch you in
That
the
has
throat.
been a lot of the discussions across these legal things, that these consumers are like, they make more money than everybody else and they brag about it and they're showy. And so I just think trying to be humble in the way you market yourself, don't brag about your numbers, certainly share your closings, share success stories of your clients, but don't pose yourself as this. I mean, like, there are some agents, I'm not knocking them, but it's like they get a new fancy car and they're like, oh, look what I earned. And I'm like, that doesn't impress me as human. I don't care. So I just think those are talks that they've like dealt with on, I mean, at the state level, they're like, we have posed ourselves as, this, kind of ostentatious industry, and we need to show value and not be showy.
Okay, good. I'm going to summarize that into be humble,
Got it.
because that's everything that you said to a nutshell. So I want to get a little bit more specific, because we're all fighting some of the same battles. Everybody that has a listing is fighting the same battle that I'm fighting on my listings. Everybody that has a buyer is fighting the same battle that I'm fighting on my buyers. And the thing that we're missing out of this right here, there's one word that we haven't said on this board yet.
I don't know the word, but maybe like you're the go-to person, the expert.
Okay.
And
There's-
like having the, like, okay, there's, 3 inspectors that I can recruit.
Right, we have-
Because if you're just on your own and you're just Googling inspector, you don't know somebody that's actually, you know what I mean?
That's adding value. That's a very good, to be the mayor of your town.
Yes.
I think just advocate. I mean, your client advocate, we are the consumer's advocate to homeownership.
And we're their resource. Pretty
Okay,
much for everything, repairs and negotiating and the markets.
And a therapist.
Yeah.
we're still missing the biggest thing. We're
We
still
all
missing
think it, but we don't know what it is.
Just tell us the word.
communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like being available.
That is our biggest thing that we do. And it summarizes everything that we just talked about, is the communication. Now, I had last week and probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had gone and shown you people, not you guys, trying to use proper English here. Let me show right here. We had talked about list track, and that's on the main page of MLS. And I jumped over there today, and I was so excited to see that several of you had put in quite a few seller reports. I think this is a brilliant way to keep your sellers informed. The other things that I sometimes do, I don't know if you know about going to the backside of Zillow, go into your Zillow account, go to your agent hub, go to your listings, and when you hit that tab, you can pull up a report of everything that Zillow has done, and it'll give you a week, like the last 7 days, and then you can change it to 30 days. Those are reports. They're looking at Zillow. I don't trust them as far as I can punch them in the throat, but people are looking at that stuff. So it's not a bad idea to share that communication with them. Oh, it's okay. It's just a mouse. So what else are you communicating with your sellers?
I communicate weekly with all of my clients. Well, not all of my clients, but yes, all of my clients that I'm working with. Like I have what I call my weekly status update, and it's just a little Canva template, and it has bullet points of every part of the transaction, like contract executed, option money due, earnest money due, inspection date. And so I'm constantly updating that. I probably over communicate.
There's no such thing.
I mean, so my listings, I do 4 things per week, and I'm an over communicator.
Yeah.
I do the list track. I do showing reports. I know that's not a great set of data, but it is data. And I pull comps every week to see if anything's changed. And I do those things are emailed to them. And then honestly, I'm just a people person. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, how's it going this week? Like, that's just who I am. Because I know, like, I have some people in very different situations, and it is a people business. So I've got, sellers are super emotional right now, and that's sort of like, I know that, like, when agents go out to do open houses for some of my listings right now, I know I'm sort of like a broken record, but I'm like, give me feedback, because it's not because I don't know what the obvious is. Like some of them are overpriced, need to be updated, whatever. It's just keeping them emotionally grounded with, hey, today wasn't a waste. If there was 2 people through here or 3 people or whatever, here's what they said. And again, it's usually things we've already said, but I think that's just keeping them emotionally intact to feel like you're doing something.
Puts the power back in their hands. My listing in the north side, we we do have comps to support the price that we were at. But we kept getting the feedback of people are looking for a lower priced home, people are looking for a lower priced home. And the seller came to me and said, he is the bank, like he cash flowed this bill. He said, hey, you know, what I'm hearing you say is we're just too high in this market at this time. Like, I know the data, I know what it says, and just because that's what the computer says, what I'm hearing you say is this. And then it becomes their idea. And now you're not the bad guy. You're not you know, I think I don't know if you heard me say it, but the part of communication that is important to me is the transparency. Like I don't want to put people in a bad situation financially. I'm not going to, you know, push a sale so I get a paycheck. You know, we just operate our businesses in such a way that we do put the clients first and their needs first.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
sometimes it's
Love that.
frustrating, and sometimes I'm collecting a fee for you wasting my time.
Yeah,
That's not
absolutely.
good,
Well,
but-
and
So-
I want to say one last thing, sorry.
No, I'm gonna hold you just for a second. I'm gonna let you say that. Don't forget it. I'm gonna read one sentence. For everything we just talked about, our core value number 3, we position our clients as the heroes and strive to add value as their guides. That's our core value. I told you I was gonna bring it back to the core value. That's what we're all discussing here. And I think we all understand that, but we have to add the value and we have to position our people as the heroes. Danielle was just talking about, she made her seller the hero. You made your seller the hero. They come to you with the idea of, hey, let's drop the price. Beautiful idea. Why didn't I think of that? Joanna, please.
I was just gonna say about reverse prospecting, because that is something specific on the MLS that we can see that they can't see. So like I emailed the seller this morning and said, look, I know that this many agents have sent your property to, you know, their clients. This is how many people hearted it. So just have hope, you know, there are people looking at it. So
Yeah.
that's really good.
Well, and that's another thing, just kind of sidebar. When I was having issues with my listing showing up on Zillow, which is still not, Erica Wise at was like, hey, just so you know, you can go into the reverse prospecting, and we have people that have favorited this listing that their agents didn't send it to them. They just found it. So it may be worth sending a follow-up email, because I've always been like, I don't know, I saw the house, they didn't like it.
Mhm.
Why am I getting this email? Well, that makes sense. Like, go in, that's just one more tool in our tool belt of, okay, you can see that someone favorited it. Did their agent discuss this home with them? Did they send it to them? Which I didn't
And
realize.
some of them have the loud concierge.
Yeah.
And so that's also on the reverse prospecting in that tab. I want to shift the gears because we've only got about 5 minutes left. On the buyer side, what are you doing for your buyers?
well, so that's what I was fixing. I'm glad that you brought that up. So that's also been another discussion that I've heard from like all of these lawsuits, is that a lot of agents, and you know as well as I do, that are not carrying out their code of ethics, meaning doing minimal level of service. If you are on a new build, I mean, and that's something that I do. I mean, I do a lot of new construction. I know that those reps say, hey, you just send them out here, fill out a card, I'll put your name on a contract. That's great for the builder. They're still going to pay you. But if you're examined by that you're not showing up to the walkthroughs and encouraging the inspections and going to the design center and communicating with title and lenders and all that, you're not doing your minimal level of service. And that is why people are examining this like, wait a minute, I bought a new build from you. I saw you once or twice. You collected a $20,000 check. That doesn't equate. That doesn't translate. So if you're doing new construction, because even like one, I was working with a client. She was a buyer of mine. We had gone out to a community once. She went back out there during Christmas, and literally the rep called me, and she was like, I'm putting you on this contract. And I was like, hey, if you don't feel like this is like, if I'm not representing a company or whatever, like, don't do that. I won't be that person. And now we're building from the ground up. So, I've attended all the electrical appointments, all of those things. So if you're not providing that basic level of service, then we're making ourselves look bad. And that's another point that was brought up by TAR, is like the showing me, showing my, whatever it is, like where you have a showing agent show for you. If that client isn't seeing your face and building that relationship, I mean, you're not performing your basic level of service. That is your fiduciary responsibility. Do we do it if we're on vacation? Absolutely, fill in the gaps. But those are just some of the things that have and I always go back with good arguments. Trust me.
Mhm.
But those are things that have been brought up, in Austin on the table as to how we got here. So they're just great things that I think like Holly and I talked great extensively about, and just really up your game.
Up your game. I think that's good. Anybody else?
Buyer walkthroughs, if you haven't reviewed our construction docs, it's worth looking at, positioning yourself as the expert with hey, I know that you've expressed concern about foundation. Let me tell you what we would be looking for. And that way at the next house, you can look for it and ask questions. The very easy things to show are on the back porch. If there are circles next to the house where the concrete doesn't match, there was foundation work done.
Mhm.
So position yourself as the expert, walk the outside of the house, show the clients how you can tell how old the HVAC is and how old the water heater is. And that, because those are the questions that people don't know that they have until they're popped up on the inspection report and they're freaking out. So just kind of getting ahead of the game and truly positioning yourself as the expert, and whatever that is. And I'm not saying be phony, but I sold new homes before I got my license, and we had a script that we walked through the house, and literally there were cue cards throughout the house, so we would remember to position ourselves as the expert of our product. Do you know what, when you look into an attic, if it's shiny up there, that's radiant barrier decking. It helps keep your costs down. We live in Texas. That's good to have.
Thank you.
So just things like that. And if you haven't
love that.
If you haven't looked at it, look at it, because there are really good tidbits on there that you can walk your house and position yourself as an expert.
And I think that's a huge challenge probably for me, is I can't tell you how many people have come to me after working with other agents and saying I don't see any value in you. And I'm like, okay, well, give me a chance. And then people will literally send me a text and be like, you have proved me wrong. So for me, that's a challenge to be you've had a horrible experience. I want to show you that there is someone as attentive, almost like a concierge service, that I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to deal with all the drama in the background. You're not going to know about it, as best you can handle. Sometimes you have to get into the weeds and the mess. But my job is to make the buying home experience or selling less stressful. Otherwise, if I'm going to make it a stressor, they might as well go YouTube and figure it out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think posing yourself as more of a concierge service, I can change my own oil. I could dye my own hair. I could do all those things. I pay those premiums because I don't want to get into the weeds.
Understood.
I ain't got time.
I've got a question about the buyer thing. So what Tasha was talking about is I found a home yesterday that wasn't offering any buyer agent compensation. And I, of course, immediately just thought it was an accident. And I texted the agent and was like, hi, is there no buyer agent compensation? I noticed it was 0. And she said, that's correct. And that's a negotiable point. And I said, I would not negotiate my commission in an offer. If you can't negotiate my commission, how am I going to negotiate it to your seller? So what I would have to do, I'm guessing, is negotiate that with my buyer ahead of time before he makes an offer on your property. And then she called me because, of course, she didn't want to continue to text and be on record. And so then she said, you don't even want to know how long I have spent trying to convince, because this house has been on the market for months. It's about $200,000 overpriced as well. But the house has been on the market for months. They have a relationship. The seller absolutely will not pay a buyer's agent. I said, what is their reasoning? And they said, because of all of the things they see in the news, they just think they don't have to. And I said, okay, but yet you've had the conversation with them that might come up in negotiations of the contract. Then I just don't know, how do we move past that? With me as a buyer rep, isn't it? What were you going to say? Because I don't know.
My question is, when I was with the XP, I had this happen. I had an agent call me and try to negotiate commissions that way. And when I spoke to our broker, her response was, it is absolutely illegal for her or him to be asking you about this. I don't know if that's true, if it's not
No,
true.
we were told the same.
Yeah.
I said, we as buyer's agent
Can't.
cannot.
That's what I
My
thought too.
question is though, and this is what I've been
That would
saying
be almost
sort
be a
of
fair
from the
housing
beginning,
plan.
is there not a way for me to say, hey, can I see your seller's agreement to see how this is broken down?
Yeah,
I think so, because you can request a buyer's.
And then what I would do is there's a form, it's called the agreement between brokers. I would submit that with your offer and just say, you know, my, I guess, workaround would be, you know, I would submit the agreement between brokers to pay whatever at your fee, submit your buyer's agency, ask to see their seller's agency, and just say that, you know, maybe get in writing from your buyer that they either don't have the additional funds, they can't pay the additional, whatever the reason is, and then work it into the closing costs, or drop the price, the amount of your.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said they know it's overpriced, so it's $1 million home, it's $200,000 overpriced. They've already reduced it, the complete commission of a buyer's agent. And I was like, thinking in my head, I don't know if she's giving the 6% and they want her to just keep it all.
That's why I would
Maybe
ask.
also.
See, that's the part of it.
We
I
don't know
guess-
yet. That's the part we don't know yet.
I would
And it
ask,
just,
I
well,
think.
and I guess one of my big concerns is right now is, like, obviously I have listings on the market. If this settlement, the
Yeah.
hammer drops, you're kind of like back in limbo where you're like, well, I have 3% on there now. Now I need to go take it off.
We'll see what
You
So
know,
what Tara,
but,
everybody
yeah,
says.
I mean, it's.
we have to
Yeah.
wait till they tell us
well,
which
I-
way to go. I'm sorry.
I would just submit the agreement between brokers. If your client wants to make an offer, I mean, talk with Brian and Jimmy.
Have you showed it yet? Have you showed?
No, so
Have you had the
I have not
conversation?
showed yet. I saw it and then, I wasn't sure if my buyer was even gonna be interested, but before I sent it to them, I did want to know if that was, I thought it was mistaken in MLS.
I mean, and the other conversation with your buyers is, hey, just so you know,
Yeah.
this house is not offering me, this is what we agreed to. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a conversation you have to have.
And honestly, it was kind of like on our text thread that we have for Parker County is I feel like right now it sort of sucks, like, because you just don't know which way the hammer's gonna drop because, you know, like we're all just trying to figure it out and maneuver. I feel like in about 6 months, I think these conversations are going to be much easier because, and I do in the end think that buyer's agents are going to come down the pike and be more respected.
I think so.
Because people are going to see your value. Because my whole thing is someone is like, oh, you don't want to pay me? Great. Why don't you call those listing agents? You wanted to see on Saturday, right? You want to see 6 houses. Now you go find all those agents and coordinate with all their schedules to see those 6 houses on Saturday.
Well,
Now, you know, and so, I mean, I think people are being I just don't think they understand, because I will tell you, I probably work harder as a buyer's agent than I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and I'm kind of like, okay, you gotta see my value, great. You go coordinate all that. So you go find the builders, you know, the pricing, you know, ask for seller's disclosure surveys, you go do all that.
Make sure it's not overpriced, make sure.
And I even think it's funny because I mean, and I don't know, I'm just like throwing this out there. You can be mad at me later.
I can bet you now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
Good point. But even like it's been proposed out there to do like an hourly wage, and I'm like, cool. My whole thing is like, cool. You want me to show you property on Saturday? It's $50 to $70 an hour,
Well,
and that's going to be collected like up. I mean, I don't know if we can even do that up front. I don't know how you process all that.
put it in your
And
buyer's
if you-
agent.
okay, so I've shown you 5 houses, so that is $250. Great, I'll take that now. Oh, you want me to get the seller's disclosure and all that? Great, that's an hour. I mean, like, I can run that 3% up real quick.
Well, and what I was
It's a bargain price.
And what I was gonna say is, like, when I was first starting, we used to calculate, like, our calls, we tracked everything. So how many phone calls we made, to how many transactions we made, to how many dollars we made.
Yeah,
And then you can go back and you're like, oh, I'm actually worth like $560 an hour.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I convert. So
Oops,
Well,
that's how much she converted.
but it's like the transaction that I closed back in from October to December, finally 60 days after that whole lender,
Mhm.
like however, anyways, denial and all that. But I mean, that was a $300,000 house. And I'm telling you, if I put down on overhead, I lost my money.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I gotta wrap this up because we're done with the hour. I'm probably have to go into the room. I need to look. I think the biggest thing that I wanted to get across to you today about the buyers and the sellers is our value is all in our communication.
Yeah.
Every bit of it is in the way that we communicate. Now, right now, we don't know exactly what to communicate because we don't know what the settlement's gonna be. But when we know that, then it's gonna be up to us to make all of those things happen for our people. And it's great that we also could communicate with the other realtors in the transaction and the talker and the lender and the insert and the keep it going. Communication is where we need to be. That was the whole point of what I was trying to get at. So thank you guys very much for being here today. I'm going to stop the video, but you're welcome to stay. We don't have anything till 12:30, so we're good. So bye. Thank you, Twila. Thank you, Shuri.
I wanted to say something.
Hi, everyone.
Had, an issue with my closing and Brian's will be on Wednesday, but my closing might not happen on Friday.